Giants fans, here we go. John Harbaugh talked about the possibility of bringing back Odell Beckham Jr. to the New York Giants. It did not sound like a no. It sounded more like a, hey, we're going to explore it. We're going to see what happens. Harbaugh loves Odell Beckham. During Beckham's time with the Ravens, which wasn't very long, it was, one season. Beckham, 14 games played, 35 receptions, 565 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. Beckham returning to the New York Giants. What a fitting end, potentially, to his career if he were to come back to Big Blue. Now, Beckham did not play last year. The last year he played was in 2024, where he played in 9 games with the Miami Dolphins. Did not have a great year. 18 targets, but 9 receptions, no touchdowns. Harbaugh liked Beckham. And with the Giants losing Wan'Dale Robinson, they need to give Jackson Dart more options on offense. They think really highly of Theo Johnson. They acquired Isaiah Likely, as we know. Then they acquired a couple of receivers. Calvin Austin, right? Darnell Mooney, who Mooney, in my opinion, that was a steal. I think he could have a big year. So now you're potentially adding, you could add, and you're flirting with the idea of bringing in a guy like Odell Beckham. That receiving core alongside Malik Neighbors, a healthy Neighbors eventually. That would be a crazy, crazy receiving core. Just revamped from last year. And maybe, Beckham not playing for a year. And in the last year he played, it wasn't very good. So maybe he's not the old Odell Beckham. And listen, he wasn't the old Odell Beckham when he was in Baltimore. But he did not have a bad year. 64 targets for Baltimore at the age of 31 years old. Just under 600 receiving yards. I'd rather have him than Jalen Hyatt. 33 years old, I get it. But I'd rather have him than Jalen Hyatt. I'd rather have him than potentially Darius Slayton. Slayton, in my opinion, has a lot to prove. And if he's still on the Giants in 2026, he needs to have a big year. Drops the ball way too much. But Harbaugh loves Theo Johnson. We could see Theo Johnson have a much better season, have a potential career year for himself. But now you got Isaiah Likely, who obviously Harbaugh is very familiar with. Potentially Malik Neighbors coming back. Then if you add Odell Beckham around your Calvin Austin and Darnell Mooney, that's just a revamped receiving core. And you're just giving Jackson Dart more options, and that's what he needs. He needs more options. And it would be nice to watch Odell Beckham potentially finish his career with the New York Giants. It could happen, especially if he wants to return, and especially if Harbaugh likes him as much as he says he does. So Odell Beckham Jr. to the New York Giants. It's not something where, that'll never happen. It could happen. It may very well happen. So I'll keep you guys posted on that, but there's more to talk about. The New York Giants are named as a possible destination for Myles Garrett. Now, I might make a dedicated video eventually about Myles Garrett because this is crazy in and of itself. But to talk about it briefly here, I mean, Myles Garrett last year, 23 sacks. Imagine Garrett, Carter, Burns. What would you have to trade for Garrett? Would Burns have to be in the trade to match salaries? Or I'm not sure. But imagine if you could get Garrett and then you have him, Abdul Carter, Burns. That would be Lawrence, Sexy Dexy. That would be the nastiest defensive line, the nastiest pass rush that I think that potentially that we've ever seen in the NFL. Ever. Man, I'm not holding my breath. I don't think it's going to end up happening. But if you can add somebody like that, a superstar pass rusher, defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett, what would it take to get him? You guys let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Now, I'll talk about him a little more in another upload, as I've said, but I also want to talk about all this Jeremiah Love talk right now. And people are wondering what the Giants are going to do with the 5th pick, and then I'm wondering too. But at the same time, with Jeremiah Love, according to Connor Hughes, the Giants aren't exactly pouring water on it. In fact, it would be less shocking, even less shocking now if the Giants were to go and draft Jeremiah Love. Harbaugh likes him. He described him as very, 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 very good player. And Jeremiah Love finished top 3. Top 3 in the Heisman Award. Had a tremendous year. We've talked about him here on the channel a few times. But had a tremendous season last year. Had a tremendous year the year before that. 19 total touchdowns in 2024. 21 total touchdowns in 2025 for the Fighting Irish. But is that the pick at 5? Could the Giants really find themselves drafting Jeremiah Love? Well, hey, if the head coach loves him, he could be a Giant. He very well could be. Do I think it happens? Guys, at this point, I'm not sure. Obviously, a lot of people want Caleb Downs. Downs could maybe slide down the draft board a little further than some would think. So maybe the Giants could potentially trade down and then draft Caleb Downs. And also accumulating other assets to make this team even deeper. So in a way, the Giants could have their cake and eat it too. But Jeremiah Love, if the Giants were to pick him, would I be mad with that? Not exactly. I'm not going to be mad if the New York Giants go ahead and draft Jeremiah Love. Now, we saw what Genty did with the Raiders last year. Now, this is the Raiders. I get it. But 975 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was the 6th overall pick last year for Vegas. Didn't have, the best season, average 3.7 yards per carry. Now, college ball is very different, but Jeremiah Love last year averaged 6.9. He did that 2 years in a row, by the way. As I said, though, pro and college, very different. So it's like, can Jeremiah Love's play translate to the NFL? Absolutely it can. For sure. Absolutely. But is it worth drafting him with the 5th overall pick when you have a guy like Tyrone Tracy, Scattaboo coming back, Motor, still got him, that they restructured his deal? I thought Motor was done. I thought they were going to say, see you later, Motor. Genty, if you look at him at Boise State, 374 carries in his final year at Boise, right, where Jeremiah Love had 199 carries. But Genty, 2,600 yards on the ground, 7 yards per carry, basically identical to Jeremiah Love. Maybe you think Jeremiah Love is the better prospect. I don't know. But would it be worth the New York Giants drafting Jeremiah Love with that 5th pick? They could. I want to know what you guys have to say down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Odell Beckham, Myles Garrett, Jeremiah Love. There's a lot to talk about, and we're going to talk about this stuff even more throughout the week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Take care.